guys, thank you so much for joining us. So let's get to decorating. So right here, we're cutting the tip of the bag. Make sure you don't cut it too big because we are gonna outline the cookies. So that's the first step in decorating our cookies. We are going around and just piping out a thin line of icing. Now, what we're trying to do is we're creating a little barrier so that when we go back to flood the cookies, like I am doing right now, the icing doesn't just overflow to the side of the cookie. So, so we create the little barrier and then we go back and flood our entire cookie. Now, some people like to use a little tool. It's called a little scribe tool, which is like a little needle. You can use a toothpick. I personally just use the bag. I use the tip of my bag, and that's what I'm doing here. Like when I'm shaking my hand like that, I'm kind of distributing the icing all over my cookie, kind of getting it even as possible. Now we're gonna do the same for all of our cookies. We're gonna flood the cookies and then we're gonna come back and add the detail. I just want to say thank you so much for supporting us, and thank you so much for buying our cookie kit, and thank you so much for joining us and being here today. Here you might be thinking, what the heck is she doing? Sorry guys, I picked up the teal bag because I was going to do the sunglasses on the llama and then decided to flood it white first, and then we would add the glasses as a detail. So we are going to add the glasses. It's just not yet. So here with my llama, I am outlining, same as I did with my other cookie. And then I'm going to go back and flood it. So if your outline doesn't look, it's not what you wanted, it's not straight, or if it falls off the side of the cookie or whatever, it's no big deal, guys. You can scrape off the icing of the cookie and just start over. I would recommend you have a wet paper towel or a wet kitchen towel, because it's so easy to clean royal icing with just plain water, guys. So it's nice to kind of have it there in case you mess up and you need to scrape something off, or you get icing on your hand or on your finger or whatever. So yeah, we are flooding cookies here. And this is me flooding in real time, guys. So this video is not sped up or anything like that. If your cookie is looking kind of lumpy, you need to distribute your icing a little more, or you might just need to add a bit more icing. So just kind of go back, like I said, and use your baggie or a toothpick. If you feel more comfortable with a toothpick to make sure that you don't overflow, that is totally fine. So for our sun, what I decided to do is I'm going to flood it in sections. And so this is the circle here, and I'm going to flood the inside of the circle. However, I'm going to outline all of the little triangles, so whenever I come back to flood the rest of the cookie, that outline is dry. And so what it does is it gives you more definition on your cookie. Like it gives you some sort of like dimension. If I was to flood the entire cookie, it's totally okay, but it's gonna look like the llama and the hexagon. And I mean, you could just come back and outline it. That's totally fine. But this is, just how I decided to do the sun because it was fun. So I'm flooding the center of the sun, and just like we did with the llama and our hexagon over there. Now the flow of the bag is all on the pressure, guys. So you don't want to press too hard on the bag or it's gonna come out really fast. You don't want to cut your bag too big because you're going to have a harder time flooding. Now, it's always safer, guys, to cut the bag smaller and then go back and adjust it. than it is to cut it too much and then try to work with that. So here we're doing the cactus, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna outline it. Now I like to start at the center of my cookie, and it kind of helps me get a feel for the icing in the bag. They're all the bags are pre-measured, and so they have different amounts of icing. And so I start in the middle because it helps me gauge, the pressure and stuff, because it's going to be different for all the bags. Now, a little tip, guys, for the bags is I like to twist the top of my bag so that I'm not squeezing to like in the middle of the bag. It's just easier on your hands. And it's just little tricks you learn, from decorating cookies. Okay, so on this cookie, look, this is a perfect example. The icing is not smoothing out like the other colors, and that is totally, totally, totally okay. So what you're gonna see when I'm done flooding this cookie is I'm gonna do exactly what I was talking about, where you shake the cookie a little bit, where you just go back and kind of tap the cookie just a little bit to smooth out your icing. And then after we're done flooding, you need to wait. Well, you don't have to wait, but I would recommend that you wait just a couple of minutes, not a ton, just to let your icing sit a little bit before we come back and do the details. Now, if you guys are interested for a more advanced cookie kit or cookie lesson or cookie tutorial, we are working on having those available for you guys. And they'll come with more tools, and I typically decorate with 2 consistencies, and so those will have the 2 consistencies. Here we're using just one consistency. Okay, so now my cookies have sat there just for a little bit, and now we're gonna come back and add the details to the cookies. So for the cactus, it's just an outline, and this, you just go along the edge here. You go all the way around. Okay, and like right there, guys, that was an air bubble in my bag. And if that happens to you, it's okay. You just kind of go back. My icing kind of dripped on the side there, so I use the tip of my bag to just clean it up and scrape it off and just keep going. And so here we go, we're doing the lines for the cactus. I start with the center part of the cactus first, the bigger one, and then I do the little arms. And you guys can do it however you want. This is just how I do it. This is the design that I picked for this cookie set. Okay, now here we go. This is the sun, and I'm gonna start by flooding that second part of the cookie that we didn't flood at the beginning. And so we just go around the cookie and flood the little triangles. And as you can see, you see what I'm talking about, like how it's not all like blended together. There's a little definition there. And guys, when it comes to cookies, it's all in the details. Details make all the difference in the world. So here what I'm doing is, I'm going back with the tip of my bag and kind of distributing the icing on the little tiny spaces. Now this is where a lot of people feel more comfortable using that toothpick to kind of get the icing in those corners without over flooding. So if you guys want to do that, go for it. Give it a try. Just make sure you clean your toothpick after every time you use it, so that you have a nice clean toothpick. Okay, so next we're gonna do the llama, and I am going to start by outlining the sunglasses. And really what it is, it's just two hearts, guys. And I wish I would have recorded this from a different angle, but so I outlined it with a teal, and then I'm gonna come back and flood the inside a different color. And so right now I am working on the little cloth thing on the llama. And really, guys, you can do whatever design you want for this. There is no right or wrong. What I like to tell people is pick a shape and just go all the way around. Whatever it is, a square, a triangle, just a line, hearts, flowers, polka dots, and just kind of keep that pattern going. And really, that's the same concept for the mandala that we're going to work here in a little bit. We kind of start at the center and just go around, you know, just pick a random shape. It doesn't really matter. There's no, like I said, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. And I would love to see your designs that you come up with. I mean, you can get as detailed as you want for these cookies, and they all look pretty. And that's the beauty of mandalas. I have been drawing mandalas for, I couldn't even tell you. When I met my husband, every time we would go out to eat, that's what I would do on napkins. I would, you know, just start in the middle and go around, you know, would pick a shape, a random shape. Okay, so now that our glasses, the outline for our glasses is a little dry, I'm going back to flood the sunglasses. And they're like that. And you can add like another layer if you want after this, kind of let it dry a little bit and then come back and add more. That is totally fine. And I'm just filling in, adding polka dots and just whatever shapes. Just like that. I'm going back to outline in white. And on this one, guys, I decided to do swirls. And because it's a llama, really you can't mess this one up. Like whatever shape or design you choose to do, it's gonna be just as cute. I even added some polka dots. Okay, here we go. This is one of my favorite cookie designs to make. And like I said, just start at the center, or you can even start on this on one of the sides. Like you can't mess it up. There's just no way you can mess it up. Now, I wish I would have recorded this from a different angle because you can't really see what I'm doing. But I'm just, you know, pick a shape and just go all the way around and just keep doing that. I am alternating colors. But, I mean, like I said, you can do whatever you like. Now, like I mentioned before, I typically decorate with two consistencies. I have my outline consistency, which is a little stiffer, and then my flooding, that's more liquidy. But I felt that it wouldn't be fair if I decorated with two different consistencies and only gave you guys one consistency. So here I am decorating with just one consistency. This is what you guys get in your decorating kit. See here, I did some triangles. I'm going back and adding something else with the teal. And just like that. And like I said, guys, I would love to see your designs, what you come up with. And it don't even, like, for this cookie right here, it doesn't even have to be circular. I mean, you can do the hexagon shape. You can do whatever. Do ruffles, do just polka dots, just different sizes of polka dots is really, really cute. And I'm just adding more polka dots. Now I want to say, I'm going back. The inside, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I did like a little swirl. And so I'm going back and adding polka dots in between that swirl, in between those lines. Okay, so next is our sun. And I'm gonna do the circle. I'm outlining the circle. And then I'm gonna go back and outline the little triangles again. And that's what I'm doing right here. And even though it's all the same color, because you let it dry a little bit, you give it definition. And so after I finished outlining the rectangles, I am coming back over and doing a line straight down from the peak of each triangle into the circle. And then in the middle of the cookie, I am just doing a swirl. Just like that. Now, if we would have done this while my cookie was still wet, the icing just kind of sinks